Okay, boys and girls, I made this video to help you out with remembering how to properly do your response letters, because I know over break you're going to be having to do a couple, and I just want to make sure that there are no questions. So, for any time you need any of the resources to help you remember how to do response letters, you should always go into Language Arts, click on Reading, then go into Reading Response Letters, and all of these things will be here. Example letters, thinking stems, examples that I wrote, and other student examples, as well as the format of what the letter should look like. So everything is in here, so there will be no excuses as to why you wouldn't know what to do. Okay, so next I'm going to review an example of a response letter that I wrote and that we did kind of go over. So let's look at it right now. It basically says, it's hard to see, but I think you can see it. Okay. Dear, notice the date up in the upper right hand corner, the greeting, dear class. It begins with the title and author. I am currently reading the book Wonder by R.J. Palacio. The main character is a boy named Augie, who was born with a facial deformity. He has been homeschooled for most of his childhood. His mom decided to send him to regular school when he started 5th grade. He is having some challenges fitting in, but is starting to make some friends. So I gave the title of the book, the author, a really brief summary of kind of what's going on in the story. Now, the next two sections are my thoughts, and I use some thinking stems, but I started with just saying what I read. So I just finished the chapter called An Apparition at the Door. This was an important part of the book because Via, Augie's sister, was wondering a few things that were sort of like tough questions. For example, she thought, I wonder how many nights she stood outside his door, and I wonder if she's ever stood outside my door like that. Even though these weren't exactly questions, they were still things that Via really wanted to know, and that she was wondering to herself. These sort of tough questions made me wonder if Via is beginning to be jealous of all of the attention that Augie gets from his parents. So notice in that section, I brought up signposts. That was my own thought. I put this was an important part because they made me wonder, things like that. So this, you could see my thoughts were in here. And with, quotes from the book also, text evidence also. So now my second section, it also is more of my thoughts. Earlier in the book, Via talks about how she's used to everything revolving around Augie, but that now she thinks he needs to grow up. When she wonders if her mom has ever stood outside her door, it makes me realize that Via might be feeling like she is not as important as Augie, which might be why she's starting to get annoyed with everyone putting Augie's needs first. After finishing this chapter, I'm starting to predict that Via is going to become more angry about all of the attention that Augie is getting, and she might not accept it anymore. So, all my thoughts again. I talk about what part of the book that made me have the thought. I bring up what I was predicting, what I was realizing, and then at the end, it's just kind of my final thoughts, my closing. I'm really, really loving this book. There are so many important themes that the author is trying to show. I can't wait to see how Augie continues to face the challenges of being at a new school. Sincerely, Mrs. Troyer. So that was just an example. I know we talked about this one before, but I thought it'd be a good refresher. So what you need to do today is I'm going to read another excerpt, and it's also going to be put on Schoology so you could see it better. And you are going to kind of write a response based on this one. Okay, so I will start reading it. It's the whole text messaging that was happening. So between August and July, August and Jack, sorry, says, Hi August, Jackalope Will wants to be friends with you on Facebook. Thanks, the Facebook team. To AuggieDoggyPullman at email.com. Subject, sorry. Message, Hey August, it's me, Jack Will. I noticed I'm not on your friend list anymore. Hope you friend me again because I'm really sorry. I just want to say that. Sorry. I know why you're mad at me now. I'm sorry I didn't mean the stuff I said. I was so stupid. I hope you can forgive me. Hope we can be friends again, Jack. One new text message from August. December 31st, 4:47 p.m. Got your message. You know why I'm mad at you now? Did Summer tell you? One new text message from Jack Will, December 31st, 4:49 p.m. She told me Bleeding Scream as hint, but didn't get it at first. Then I remember seeing Bleeding Scream in homeroom on Halloween. Didn't know it was you. Thought you were coming as Boba Fett. Jackalope Will, 32 mutual friends. One new text message from August, December 31st, 4:51. I changed my mind at the last minute. Did you really punch Julian? One new text message from Jack Will, December 31st, 4:54 p.m. Yeah, I punched him, knocked him out a tooth in the back, a baby tooth. One new text message from August, December 31st, 4:55 p.m. Why'd you punch him? One new text message from Jack Will, December 31st, 4:56 p.m. I don't know. One new text message from August, December 31st, 4:58 p.m. Liar, I bet he said something about me, right? One new text message from Jack Will, December 31st, 5:02 p.m. He's a jerk, but I was a jerk too. Really, really, really sorry for what I said, dude, okay? Can we be friends again? One new text message from August, December 31st, 5:03 p.m. Okay. One new text message from Jack Will, December 31st, 5:04 p.m. Awesome. One new text message from August, December 31st, 5:06 p.m. But tell me the truth, okay? Would you really want to kill yourself if you were me? One new text message from Jack Will, December 31st, 5:08 p.m. No, I swear on my life, dude, but I would want to kill myself if I were Julian. One new text message from August, December 31st, 5:10 p.m. LOL, yes, dude, we're friends again. So that's the end of that, and it's also in Schoology for you to open up and annotate on. But right here, I want to remind you, when you do letter, that you must include these parts. Okay, so let's start with the date. Obviously, it's not November 6, 2015. It's November 23rd, 2015, if you're doing it today, which you are. The greeting would be right there. Dear Mrs. Troyer, Miss Coleman, both of us or one of us, doesn't matter. Indent, because your intro paragraph is going to say your title and author. You're reading Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Tell me about what this page was about, the texting, and why they were texting, why was Jack texting them, and what, really what was going on. Very brief, not long. Body paragraph. You're going to have two different paragraphs at least. If you decide to have three, then have three. But you're going to indent each one. Pick one part of that to talk about. Put your thoughts, signposts, inferences, evidence, interpretation. The thinking stems will help you to come up with that. And when you're done talking about that one part of there, then you can indent and talk about another part and what you were thinking about it. At the end, you would indent again with your conclusion, your final thoughts, maybe your feelings about it, maybe if you're recommending it to someone or not, if it reminded you of another book, any kind of thing, to kind of close this letter. And then sincerely and your signature. So those are the parts that you need. Again, all of this stuff is in Schoology where I showed you, but just, as a refresher, I wanted to show it to you. And don't forget, these are some thinking stems, basic ones. There are more in Schoology besides these, but when I say you're thinking, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, It could be this reminded me of. It could be a connection that you made. I made a connection with. I was surprised by. I can't believe. I don't understand. It upset me. I didn't like it when. This made me think of. I began to understand. This was an important part of the book because it was interesting when. When I finished the book, I felt. If I could talk with the author, maybe what would you ask the author? Like, hey, man, why'd you do this weird text part? What were you trying to show? Or, whatever. After the story ends, I predict that the main character will. The character I admire the most is. I do not like. The book is not realistic because I can't imagine the story happening to me. I would recommend that you read this book. I would not suggest that you read this book. These are just some thinking stems. There are tons more that you can think of, and some of them might not be on there. It just might be your own way of thinking of it. Either way, whatever you're thinking about the book, as long as you provide evidence for it and explain why you're thinking it, there is not a wrong or right answer. It is your thinking, but remember to always refer back to the text to explain why you're thinking what you're thinking and what in the book made you think that, and that is really all you need to do. If you want to get a 3, you're going to have at least 2 of your own own thoughts with at least evidence to back up those 2 things. You're going to have a title, you're going to have the author, you're going to have all those things. The closing, all the parts of the letter. The rubric is also on Schoology, so it is there for you to always look at to know what you're expected to do. Thanks, and give it a good try.